On a daily basis, there are countless advertisements of artificial formula for babies. While the manufacturing companies concentrate on maximizing profit through advertisement, parents and guardians are coerced into purchasing such products at the expense of the safety of their babies. There is a legislative instrument that prohibits manufacturers from advertising infant feeds. In this report, Eunice Nyamiche Jonathan takes a look at this international code and Ghana's adherence to it.
Many people have had to resort to artificial feeds for their babies, but they do not seem to know the effects these have on infants. Infant formula were not intended to be consumed on widespread basis as is done today. They were conceived in the late 1800s as a means of providing necessary sustenance for orphans who would otherwise have starved, and thus became a lifesaver. This paved way for humans to get more comfortable with artificially modified infant feeds, and this became a worldwide trend. Comparatively, the breast milk is a live food that contains living cells, hormones, active enzymes, antibodies, and at least 400 other unique components. The composition changes from the beginning to the end of the feed and according to the age and needs of the baby, and because it contains active immunity, it protects the baby from diseases. On the other hand, artificial milk is a little more than junk food. Here are some facts. The breast milk is rich in brain-building omega-3. It automatically adjusts to infants' needs. It is very rich in cholesterol. It contains the fat-digesting enzymes lipase. Baby formula has no DHA, does not adjust to infants' needs, has no cholesterol, not completely absorbed, and has no lipase. The nutritional contents of such products tend to make infants who feed on them very prone to certain unhealthy conditions such as obesity and even diabetes at an early stage in life.
Childhood obesity is a risk to non-communicable diseases such as diabetes, heart disease, and which sometimes results in stroke. So if you start on the wrong footing, then your risk to these conditions in later life is higher.
Some mothers the news team interacted with affirmed using baby formula for their babies, ignoring the 6 months exclusive breastfeeding rule. When it became clear that declining breastfeeding rates were affecting infant health and that advertising of infant formula had a direct effect on a woman's decision not to breastfeed, the International Code of Marketing Breast Milk Substitute was redrafted and eventually adopted by the World Health Assembly in 1981. Ghana is a signatory to the LI 1667, which promotes safe and adequate nutrition for infants on a global scale. The code tries to protect breastfeeding and ensure the appropriate marketing of breast milk substitutes. Dr. Gabriel Ganyaglo is an advocate on this code.
We build the confidence of mothers to breastfeed. We give them counseling skills to enable them breastfeed. Only for formula companies to say that when breastfeeding is not possible or when breastfeeding is difficult. In what circumstances is it difficult or impossible?
According to the LI 1667, the punishment for manufacturing companies for more than a decade has been 5,000 cedis and or a close down of company for a year. This, advocates believe, is not enough, and yet no company is recorded to have been made to face the law. So which body has to ensure companies do not discourage breastfeeding through their advertising tactics?
The agency responsible for monitoring the LI 1667 is the Food and Drugs Board, and we don't know their constraints, but we are very dissatisfied with the kind of monitoring going on.
It is estimated that for every child exclusively breastfed for 6 months, an average of $450 worth of infant food will not be bought. On a global scale, That amounts to billions of dollars in lost profits. The Food and Drugs Authority will give answers on how they are fighting companies that are flouting the LI 1667 in our subsequent bulletins. Eunice Nyamicha Jonathan, ETV News.